Welcome back, everybody, to the first edition of In the Paint with Coach Thompson. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. I'm great. Ready to start the season?
It's right around the corner, and let's talk about this season. Going back from last year, if you look at last year's season, 4A, 5A blend, Coach Jay and I were talking about now you step back into the old 1-4A conference and renew some old rivalries. Not that you didn't play some like Prairie Grove and non-conference, but now it has a little extra to it.
Yeah, happy to be back. Glad to play some of these rivalry games that count. You know, instead of playing them early in the season, you know, we'll get to play your Prairie Groves, your Huntsvilles, your Pea Ridges, you know, late in the season for games that count. Especially for us this year. You know, thought we lost a lot of close games last year. Record wasn't what we wanted to be. But, you know, we've addressed a lot of those concerns that we had last year through the summer, through the spring, the summer, and the off season. So we're excited to get started.
Let's talk about this year's team. Let's start off with the senior class. Jalen Montez. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Kind of dive in and give us a look at those seniors and that sort of thing, what they mean to this team and what they've done.
Yeah, we're really anchored by Danny Valenzuela. He was second team in minutes last year. Kid that doesn't a lot of things he doesn't show up in the stat book, but he's had more minutes than any player we've had. He always guards other team's best player. Just a stocky, smart, mean being the main character. Not that Danny's a mean kid, but when he gets on the floor, he is.
Right.
And you know, he's really our rock and our anchor, especially defensively, and the heart and soul of our team. Jalen Montez played a bunch for us last year, the two. You know, he can really shoot the basketball. There's going to be games where he has a multitude of points, a multitude of three-pointers. When he gets his feet set, he's as good a shooter anywhere in the league. And those two have really led us work-wise. You know, at the end of last season, we didn't do what we wanted. We didn't get done didn't accomplish what we wanted. Those two were the two that come in and said, you know, we're going to change this. Started practice early in the mornings with these guys right after the season was over, and those two kind of led us through. You know, Jalen's probably our vocal leader. Danny doesn't say much.
Right.
Danny leads by example on the floor, and he's really just a machine. Never changes expression. Plays as hard as he can play every possession. Got some help. You know, moved in. William Pridmore moved in from a little school 6 miles west of us. We won't mention their name. Their colors are gold and black. Their mascot's the Tigers.
Right.
But Will really added the one dimension that we wasn't sure we had. He's 6'3", lengthy scorer, can score inside, can score outside. He's the kind of kid that can score when plays break down. In boys basketball, especially late in the year, you have to have that.
Right.
You know, your motion offense and whatever you're doing is it can take you so far, but once you get scouted, once you start playing teams 2-3 times, you know, he's the kind of kid that can ad-lib and get you points on his own. Got some more seniors. You know, Tony Mayo played a lot for us last year coming out of football. We're going to expect big minutes from him. High energy kid, big strong post player. Jackson McKinley coming in. You know, we think he may play some as spot up shooter off the bench for us. So we've got some seniors. Jaden Whitmore played some at the guard for us last year. He's going to play the point for us this year. Expecting big things out of him. He's really improved his game. He's a good spot up shooter. I mean, we're going to count on him to get us in the right sets, to get the ball where it needs to go. That's, you know, his main job, and he got to sit down and guard defensively for us too. But really a great class of seniors that's really put their nose to the grindstone and worked hard, and expect them to have a huge impact. Going to play a few juniors in the mix. One being Austin Shelley. You know, Austin's somewhere between 6'7" and 6'8". He's by far our most improved player. He improves every day. He's going to be a factor in this conference for the next 2 years, assuming he stays healthy. Big guys like that, you really have to watch the knees and their back.
Right.
Guys like him don't walk the halls much here at Farmington. That are 6'7", 250 pounds.
Right.
And he's really worked, changed his body, worked hard in the weight room, and he's going to be a factor down on the post for us, both offensively and defensively. And really, for us to beat good teams, between him and Pridmore, down on the block and Mayo, they have to dominate the glass
right.
for us to beat good teams. And that's what we're working towards.
It seems like it seems to me like with this group that you have, when it comes down to, I can't tell you how many times that I'd turn a corner in a gym and you would see Witt putting up shots. You would see Montez putting up shots. You would see Valenzuela putting up shots, working on footwork, that sort of thing. That when it and then you mentioned the maturation process that Shelly's gone through from his junior high days to now, and the way he's changed his body. One thing that you can't take away from this group, both the senior class and the underclassmen, they're not afraid to work.
No, this is one group, and I've had a bunch of groups here, and all groups have different forms and
right.
shapes and positives and negatives. But this is a group that people in Farmington should really root for. They're easy to root for because, man, they work hard.
Mm-hmm.
They wear me out of the nights. I can't hardly sit at home without going and getting my keys and opening the gym up for somebody. 2 or 3 of them a night. They're in here constantly on their own, trying to work to get better. Really, it's really a group that I want to see win. Not for me. I want to see them win for them because they're the ones that's invested the time.
Right.
That's invested the time to be good, and they took ownership of their own team. We just got to work through the first of this season. Maybe jumping ahead of things, but we have really top-loaded our schedule to get ready for the district and the regional tournament at the end of the year. And we're going to have some stuff to work through early in the year because the teams we're playing are really good. But if we take those games in stride and we fix what problems we have from game to game and get better and better and better, hopefully by the meat of our conference schedule, late December, early January, February, this team would be something to watch.
It's amazing how quickly this season turned upon us. I mean, we were just doing football games not too long ago, and
slapped us right in the face.
It sure did. I mean, it catches you off guard, and it's an exciting time for Farmington basketball. It's an exciting time for you and Coach Jay as basketball season gets set to tip off, and just. Even though, like you mentioned, even though last year may not have gone the way that you had hoped and that sort of thing, but now is the first page. You get to completely rewrite the story for this year. And you're back into the original 4A conference, maybe not necessarily having to play some of those bigger schools like Greenwood in a conference matchup and that sort of thing. And kind of, even against those tougher teams that you've stacked your schedule against, if you go, let's say you go 500, 750, 800 coming out of it, who knows? You may be undefeated. But, in the long run, the thing is that if those guys understand, those are elite teams that we're playing. And look at how competitive we were, regardless of what the final score was. Look at how competitive that we are. Let's make these adjustments and take them into conference season, and they could play big dividends for you.
Right. Yeah. The last thing you want is for your second conference game for you to get a dogfight, and you hadn't been in a dogfight yet.
Right.
And we're going to be in some. We're going to be in one on Monday. Our first one will be a dogfight at Van Buren. We'd like to play. We're ready to play right now. Our schedule is set to where we really can't start till next week. But You know, we've got some fights ahead of us. You know, we're going to Van Buren, we're going to Greenwood, we're going to Pottsville, who may start out the #1 team in 4A state.
Right.
We're playing Greene County Tech, another 5A school at Pottsville. We've got Alma coming to town.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Hot Springs Lakeside coming to town. So all those schools, we go to Huntsville for a non-conference, which Huntsville's in our league, but going to Huntsville's never easy. So that's a snapshot of our first 8, 9, 10 games.
Right.
So you know, you can get beat by any of those teams, and your margin for error is not very high. But you know, I think just like you said, we hope to come out of that thing 500. You know, if we come out of that stretch 4-4, 5-3, something like that. You know, knowing we're getting better every game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, knowing that we've played the kind of people that we want to play, and that way when Pea Ridge comes to town, the second conference game of the year, you know, we're ready.
Right.
We've played teams that's forced us to be physical. They've forced us to rebound the basketball. They've forced us to guard all 5 spots, which you know, when you play smaller schools, that doesn't happen.
Right.
So you know, when we hopefully we can play through our district tournament. Our region's very tough. You know, it's almost just like a state tournament. We're looking at Pottsville, who I've already mentioned. Morrilton's in our region. Ozark is in our region.
Mm-hmm.
Clarksville's in our region. Subiaco Academy is in our region. They returned everybody from last year. We're going to play them non-conference on the road. So you know, it all comes down to that regional tournament. You got to win your first game, win one game in it, and you know, then you're sitting in the state tournament. And that's this team's goal. You know, we've had really good teams. You know, 3 out of the last four years. You know, we had some of the best teams we've had, and just hadn't had luck enough to get through to that 5A state tournament with them, and been beat by really good teams. And this team, you know, we want to go back to state tournament. The kids want to go back to the state tournament, and once you get there, anything
can happen. One bounce of the ball your way, and it completely changes things. What are you looking forward to most this year?
Oh,
besides tip-off.
Just what we said before. You know, I wish these boys success because they've done what it takes to earn it.
Right.
You know, we know it's not going to be easy, but you know, if we can get this team where we want them at the end of the year, you know, it'll be something these kids remember for the rest of their lives.
Right.
And as a coach, you know, those are the things you enjoy watching. Is you just enjoy watching kids work toward a common goal, and hopefully succeeding through that goal. But it's basketball. Basketball is different than football. It's different than baseball.
Absolutely.
It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Every game takes its own shape. You know, you go through highs, you go through lows during the season. You go through spells where you can't miss a shot. Then you may go through a week where it seems like you can't make one.
Right.
You know, so we know it's a marathon, but we're ready to get started.
Very cool, Coach. I sure appreciate you taking time out of your day. I know that you're across campus from us and have another class before you get back to basketball, back to the grind of things. If you were to circle, and you may have looking at your schedule, if you were to circle one game on that schedule and say, this could change the outlook of everything, or this is the game that I'm looking forward to most, what would that game be for you?
Yeah, well, obviously Prairie Grove is always a big game for us. I believe we open our conference season with Prairie Grove, and that's always going to be a big game for Farmington and Prairie Grove. But really on our side, our goal is to finish first in our side of the league. Pea Ridge has won this league the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
They return a lot of players. They've got a good team. You know, we're going to play them twice. You know, both those games are going to be huge for our kids. Both those Pea Ridge games, and you know, we want our biggest games to be our conference games.
Right.
And you know, these early games are important to us, but there's just something about when you play somebody for a conference title.
Right.
In January, late January, early February, that you know, it just makes basketball special. And if we can get there, we play Harrison right here on senior night. We think Harrison's ultra talented.
Right.
On paper, they're by far the best team in our league. It's not even close, but we would love to, on senior night, to be playing Harrison right here in Cardinal Arena for a chance to win a conference title, outright conference title.
Right.
So, you know, lots of things have to fall in place for that to happen, but if it does, this place will be wild.
It'd be a great sight to see and a lot of fun to take part in. Coach, I sure appreciate it. That's your season preview for the men's side of Cardinal basketball. Coach, what do you say that we do this on a weekly basis? Not necessarily this long, but diving into a weekly outlook on the games for that week.
Sounds great.
Be in the paint with Beau Thompson, head boys basketball coach here at Farmington. We'll see you later.